Celtics are the balls.
We did it! We did it!
It's about I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson.
No more.
Ground ball, right side. Cabrera will cut it off.
No
Goes
more.
wide, covered.
No
He's
more.
out. No, he's
No
safe.
more.
Phoenix has the foul. And a pinnacle ball throws it down.
DeBrincat gets it back to Gosses. Strand across now. King. Saber. They score. Raymond.
Five. Johnson to throw it. It's caught by St. Brown for a first down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is BS Sports.
And away we go. Welcome in. New intro. Pulled
New
that
intro.
out last week. New intro. Seth,
Very nice.
looking very vertical today.
Yep.
In a
Yep.
in a long rectangle going up and down here. A little bit of
Indeed.
technical difficulties on your end, but
Yep.
he's here. He's here for the show, and that's what's
I
most
am.
important.
I
Seth,
am.
how was your week, Ben?
Good. It's been very busy, and I've been doing some interesting reading.
Oh,
Maybe such of that in the NBA world that we hire players from Duke, and we think that's going to help us win a championship. I don't know. The Celtics are the balls. Yeah.
other such facts. Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of things have been happening in the NBA lately. We'll talk about a
Yep.
lot of it. Obviously last night, Game 7, Stanley Cup, Panthers
Indeed.
win it. Just a nightmare of a game to watch if you're a Panthers fan. And some baseball stuff because something happened today, Seth, and I'm very upset.
Oh,
I'm very
well.
upset.
Why?
So we'll-
why am I not surprised by that?
What you know? What it is Tigers related, and
It
that's
is.
just where I have to be. I have to reconcile I have to show people like I am still a Tigers fan. You can't call me just to hate. I like the team probably more than you. Anyway, we'll get into it.
Well,
And
makes sense.
So the first thing is the
Yes.
title of the show. It's the headliner. Seth, the Pistons did something right. I think.
well, that's
Maybe
that remains to be
fired
seen.
They fired Monty
So.
Williams. This
Yes, it did.
was a bit of a shock.
I'd say so.
Well, the thing that was shocking was like there was that report. I want to say it was a couple of weeks ago at this point. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or if I talked about it on the show where
Mhm.
is like it was a report that they were going to keep Monty Williams. Like this was like they were going to run it back at least for another year or
Mhm.
however long. And then, I don't even remember when this news drop came. It was June 19th, so middle of the week. And they're just like, you know what? Monty, dead. Kill him.
See ya.
And,
Goodbye.
like, I got to say, I
Yeah.
wish that I had Tom Gore's money. Like,
Me too.
he is like, you know what?
Yep.
$65 million. Go coach for somebody else. I will give
We
you
don't need
$65
you.
million. It
Yep.
was a shock, but
It really was. Yeah.
it was probably the right move. And I say probably because it's not often that you encounter a coach who coaches a team to their worst record in franchise history after just signing a massive deal with the team, being the highest paid head coach in the league.
Yep.
So it was a little unprecedented.
Oh, it was unprecedented, but what I'm confused about as well is the whole timing aspect. Because if you remember, Mike,
I do.
the Pistons went on, what was it, a 29-game losing streak? So what I'm
28.
confused about...
Nobody beats the Pistons 29 times in a row.
This is
Nobody.
true. Okay, so it's 28.
Yeah. Second longest in the NBA. Ever.
29. So if they... I don't know if this was a factor in this, this previous week firing Monty Williams. I'm just confused if they already had, I'm sure they had their ideas to do this,
right?
But maybe they just really wanted to just see how low they could go. Maybe they wanted to get the worst record. Because personally, my thought process is after 28 games of losing, why don't you fire him then?
Right.
It's essentially all the same now.
That's my problem with stuff like that. It's the same thing with when they fire Troy. It's like, well, why'd you let him run another trade deadline? Why'd you let him
why
run the
games
rest
after
of the
that?
year and deal with it? It just seems like Tom Gores is consistently absent-minded, and the fact that we just this past Friday got a press conference for our new president of basketball ops.
Yep.
by the way, the draft being set to like 2 days from now. Like it's
Yeah,
on
I think
Thursday.
yeah.
So
Yep.
like there's layers to why like I'm happy they fired him. But guys, you're going to go into a draft, which to be fair is supposed to be a bad draft class, but you don't have a coach.
Correct.
Like the head coach is at least as important in the draft process as the general manager. Like,
yep. I'd say even more so important for the players in some aspect.
Like, if the coach is like, well, now you're basically hiring your coach based around who you took. There was no interaction with another human being with another who's going to be involved in their development. So now, like, oh, I didn't like that you took that guy, so I don't care if you like me. I'm not going to take your job. I would have preferred Alexander Sarr, who apparently didn't want to play for the Hawks, and do you blame him?
There you go.
Does anyone know who Alexander Sarr is? If Alexander Sarr, like, I forgot. I was going to put something in this week's show notes for the draft, but I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about the draft. I don't care who the Pistons take. If they take Dalton Connect, I'll be happy. That's where I'm at. And I don't even know if that's going to be good. I think it might just be Luke Kennard.
He'd probably just be a big man version of Luke Kennard.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd grab rebounds and play defense.
Not even to get into that because it's.
But I understand your point. Yeah.
It's like
it's interesting, an interesting decision. That's how I phrase it.
Because right now we're looking at a couple of guys that are the favorites. It looks like James Borrego, former coach of the Charlotte Hornets. And he seems to be a front runner. I don't know. I mean, like I'd say the 2018 to 2022 version of the Hornets was, and this might sound weird, probably one of the better eras in Hornets history. They made the play-in that one time. LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges and that cocaine guy who calls their games.
That's it.
But I don't know if he's going to be the right fit. There's a few other guys that were on the table, according to Wojnarowski. Dallas assistant Sean Sweeney, Minnesota assistant Micah Norrie, and JB Bickerstaff, former Cleveland coach. Who I want to say was when he just got fired, right?
Correct. He just got fired, which was another interesting thing in my opinion. But
yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess in their mind, he'd kind of gotten them as far as they could, but I don't know. I mean, you were going up against maybe one of the best teams ever, maybe in this past Celtics team. But
yeah,
I look at that list, and I mean, here's the thing: it's like let's say they're interviewing guys starting from like last Friday. Well, if you want to have your coach by the time of the draft, I would have to expect a hiring announcement by tomorrow morning. And then what? Like a press conference that day? Like all while you're like running down, hey, by the way, this is what we're going to do in the draft. Like, one of the most important parts of the offseason. We're just going to bring you on immediately. Hope you're ready. I don't even know who's going to be on the team. Like,
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, just the way you just phrased it.
Coaches, right?
They can't. Yep. I think it's just a classic Pistons move, personally. I think we've all gotten used to it. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think
even funnier.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you. You can finish your thought after. But they announced this press conference for Trajan Langdon, who I was not yet convinced was a real person until they brought him out.
Right.
And how, like, I mean, Seth, you're still a student. I'm a working man. I go to work every day. Absolutely. What is like a reasonable, like, if you happen to be late for something, right? Like, what's like a reasonable amount of time to be late for something?
I'd say probably within 5 minutes.
Yeah, like 10 minutes most.
10.
Like,
10
there was unexpected traffic.
Sure.
I spilt my breakfast. A guy
my dog ate my homework.
Was telling me about donating to the vets. Wasn't even sure if he was a real vet. He started saying things that didn't make sense. Reasonable things that happen on a daily basis on your way to work or school.
Yes.
The Pistons were an hour late to their own press conference.
Oh.
They called
Again.
the press conference.
Yep.
They said, be here at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. People getting ready for the weekend.
Sure.
On a Friday.
Yep.
Oopsie daisy, we're here at like 4:45. Sorry, everybody. And then on top of that, they're like shuffling through their notes. They're like, I don't hold on, do you talk first? It's like, what is this like? Are we getting punked? Like, is this a like introducing
classic
your
Detroit Pistons? Continue.
Maybe we should just get like, I don't know, like
essentially this has just turned into just let's crap on the Pistons every single
a little
show.
bit. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
Here's the thing, because a lot of people, and I'm not gonna totally write off Trajan Langdon because it's not. I mean, it's everything is not his fault, but it is his problem. So if he can't solve it, then I'm gonna yell at him. Like I yelled at Troy Weaver, like I've yelled at other GMs and coaches around the topics we've talked about over the year, I guess we've been doing the show.
Pretty much.
But like, why should I have any confidence? Like what is?
Well, I mean, I think this is like the same thing with like Monty Williams last year. I seem to recall like there was some excitement around this, and then 14-68 or whatever the record was. So it's like I don't know. I think it's natural to have hope because it's new, but then you realize, it's still the Pistons. How are we going to screw this up?
Right. That's sort of where I'm at. It's like I know that like I was running through like what will be my best case scenario for like what their lineup could look like next year.
Yep.
And I was like, looking at this, this will not happen. Like it just won't, because it's too good. It was like my ideal dream, and watch it actually happen. That'd be kind of funny.
That'd be hilarious.
We get Brandon Ingram, we get OG Anunoby. So you have OG, Brandon Ingram, Cade, Duran, and Dalton Connect. That would be my dream starting five of 2024-2025. And I know for a fact, not a single one of those things is going to happen.
Correct.
Like they're not going to be able to get Connect. I don't know how they're not going to be able to get him, but they won't. And I don't know
what they might do.
I don't even know if they have the caps. I don't even know if they have the money or the resources to go get OG Anunoby. Why would OG want to come here anyway? He was just on a team that was, just they were in the conference finals, or they were shy of the conference They were shy of the conference finals.
They were, they got bounced by the Pacers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like OG's not coming, but he is like, it's like that would be a move if they managed to do stuff like that. That would be a move to where I could take them seriously. I could say, you know what, even looking at that, sorry, that's not a great team by any means. I would say, but it's a team that you're like, we should at least play our starters against these guys. We can't be like the Utah Jazz last year who had a team of G Leaguers come in and beat us. Like but it's not gonna happen. And
it won't. But we can have hope. Okay.
I don't think we can. I just that's sort of where I'm at. And I hate to have that level of commentary for a team that I do care about, but they're not giving me any reason to care about them. And it doesn't help that the draft lottery is what it is. I've kind of gone back and forth. It's like, if we would have won the past two draft lotteries, which whether or not you think we deserve to win it or not, whatever. Let's just say we did win the past two, and the picks remain the same. So we would have Cade, Victor, Paolo, like those three picks in a row. I like to think we'd be a play-in team, but actually I don't really know. That's how bad the supporting cast is, for one. And further, I don't know that I trust any of our development, and it especially doesn't bode well when, we don't have a coach to lead.
Well, you raise a good point. Yep. So
it's not good. It's not good. I'm not a fan of this, and I'm scared.
It's not.
But scared is not the right word. I'm just nothing. I don't like. I don't. I'm not afraid. I'm not.
It's just
I don't feel for this team.
Nope.
All it does, it's like they just do something and I just laugh.
Yep, you're just here.
Yeah, basically I'm here so
We're
I don't
along
get
for the ride.
fined. Shout out
Yep.
Marshawn. So I wanted to just go over these NBA offseason moves kind of one at a time here. I don't think we're going to spend too much time on them individually.
Probably not.
But a few of them that I thought were of note, and we'll get to the one that I want to focus a little bit of attention on near the end here. I want to start Pascal Siakam re-signing with the Pacers.
Sure.
I think this is a great move. He was fantastic in the playoffs, and
100%.
I mean, like he seems
He's
to
a
be
good
like
player.
he seems to like it there. So yeah, you got to
He's-
re-sign this guy. You can't let him
Yep.
walk.
Yep, he's a good player. They're going to do good again.
Yeah.
Next one.
All right. Alex Caruso
Yes.
traded to the Thunder for old Joshy Giddey. Seth, this tells me the Bulls are not a real franchise. I don't think they exist. They give up one of their only like well-respected players. like say what you want about DeMar DeRozan. Like I actually think the reputation of Alex Caruso is better than DeMar DeRozan's reputation.
Really? Wow. Well, I mean, I guess I can't really come up with a point to argue with that on. You're probably right. But yeah, Bulls lost that trade because they just, like you said, I think they've gone off the deep end. They don't care about anything. And the Thunder have just become another. They just added
massive problem.
They just added a great defensive guard,
defensive caliber guy, like true 3-and-D. Right.
Yep.
All this guy does is play defense, shoot threes, and hey, they didn't shoot all that well against Dallas in the semis,
and that's why they think
you had a guy
traded.
like this, like that. It's so weird. The Thunder are like, they're just like an animal. Like I would not be surprised if a similar kind of playoff run that the Boston Celtics just had happens very soon for the Thunder.
And they're a young team too, so that's
they're the youngest team ever to win a playoff series. And
that's terrifying.
It's good for them. I'm rooting for the Thunder. I love that. I love Shy, and I hate that commercial. So I hope that that stupid Shy and Chet commercial is not a part of basketball lore.
Better not be, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits to being a Pistons fan because I don't get a lot of national broadcast games, so I actually don't have to see that commercial until the playoffs.
Oh,
so this is what people don't think about. When your team sucks, you don't got to worry about the crappy commercials. You got a good team, Seth. You got to watch Shy and Chet sing some song that I don't. Does anyone? I don't even know what is the original song.
I don't know.
You know the original song? I don't know.
As soon as it comes on, my brain just turns off. I don't really care.
It's like brain rot, but in real life.
But yes. Yep.
So moving along here to the Kings, they bring back Malik Monk. This was very sad because I really wanted Malik Monk. I think he would have been fantastic. He would have started for the team, for the Pistons, obviously. He was sixth man. I think he was second in sixth man of the year.
Naz Reid won it this year, but he was like right behind him in votes. I think it was like neck and neck.
Right. I mean, a really good player, and for the Kings, it makes a lot of sense. Although I saw something today that there's some questions about if De'Aaron Fox, what's going on there. There's no way they're going to let him walk. He's
I would hope not.
Easily their best player, right? Like
him or Sabonis.
Yeah, there's no way they let him walk, especially given the fact that they're bringing back Malik Monk. If they bring back Malik Monk and they don't bring back De'Aaron Fox, then Sacramento, you're back to the Sacramento that we all know and love.
Yep.
You're back to
being like the Chicago Bulls, not caring about anything.
Yeah, but at least the Chicago Bulls were good at one point. Are there a lot of Sacramento fans? Do you know?
No, I don't know a single one.
Really?
So
I guess that's much further north.
But. It is, but you'd be surprised. Like I know people who are San Francisco Giants fans in the MLB. I don't know a single Sacramento Kings fan. So
this is like Clippers fans. It's like I'm not totally convinced it's real. Like there's people that go to the games and they'll show them on TV.
Oh yes, they're there. I know at least 2 Clippers fans, so that's more than the Kings.
I suppose there might be more where you're from because they used to be in San Diego.
Correct.
So there's like that aspect to it.
I think that helps a little bit.
Like the fact that even in San Diego, where they probably have, one might argue their largest degree of fans, and you can name 2.
I can name 2.
What about San Diego residents? Do they just default to the Lakers?
Yep. It'd
Oh,
be the Lakers for
that's no
basketball or
fun.
the Warriors. I'd say the Lakers or the Warriors because the Warriors,
Mm. Yeah, right. I've heard they're pretty good. Or
they
at
are
least
pretty good.
they were.
They were for a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And then finally,
Yep.
finally, before we get to the real thing that I want to yell about, the
Uh-huh.
Cavs hire Kenny Atkinson as new head coach, former Warriors assistant.
Yeah, I think it's a good move.
I mean, like you're picking from a good, you're picking from a good branch of coaches, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think like it's gonna be. I don't really. That's the whole thing. Like going back to like them firing JB Bickerstaff. I don't really know what Kenny Atkinson is gonna bring. Like I feel like they're gonna have, if anything, it's gonna be the exact same run they had this year, because they're
Right.
going up against teams that are just a step better than them, as in like the Celtics,
Right.
the Bucks, or maybe the 76ers if they get another like piece over
Hey, they're gonna get
this
Paul
offseason.
George. They're collecting.
Allegedly, they're gonna get Paul George.
Gosh.
But I'm just saying, like, there's
All of the
teams that
losers.
are like I even think the Knicks are better than the Cavs at this
Yeah,
point.
no,
Like
I
they
think
just have
so.
it's like the Cavs are here, and then like I don't know, just say
They've-
Bucks, Celtics, and Knicks are up here.
Their
know?
offseason big move cannot be this head coach, right? Like
Yeah,
they
it's
gotta
gonna-
make some noise. I mean, maybe
I think it's going to
they're
be
in
Donovan
the-
Mitchell, like keeping
yeah,
him.
Yeah, right. That's the
They
other
do
thing. You don't
that.
know if you got to keep Donovan Mitchell. So assuming
Mhm.
you keep Donovan Mitchell, maybe they're in the Brandon Ingram sweepstakes. Maybe. Maybe
I don't
they go
think he's
after
gonna stay
Zach
with them.
Levine. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be a great move, but that would at least
Still.
be a like, okay, I can see that your intention is to make things better.
But then they're
I
probably just going to hire Kenny Atkinson and call it at that.
That's I mean,
But hey,
they
we'll
won a
see.
playoff series without LeBron, so you know what? We got to be happy for them in that regard.
Yep, congrats to Cleveland. But
Good
anyway,
job. At
we'll
least
see.
we're not Detroit.
Good point.
Now, Seth, this
Yep.
this one hits personally, because the Lakers of Los Angeles. Initially, I don't think I actually talked about this on the show, because there was no real news other than, I guess, rumors.
A
and then an
rumor of
offer.
sort.
So Dan Hurley was given a gazillion dollars, or was offered a gazillion dollars, and he declined it.
He said, no.
So Dan Hurley, for those of you uninitiated, two-time national champion coach at UConn, probably the best college basketball coach, potentially one of the smarter basketball minds of today right now. Like he knows how to develop guys. He's got multiple guys that are going to be top picks in this draft.
Yep.
And he said, I don't want to deal with this.
No thanks.
Like the idea to me that a coach in college, a basketball coach, wouldn't want to go to the Los Angeles Lakers of all places, that is shocking.
I'm not saying
the
anything.
Lakers probably were equally shocked by this, and they were
probably.
They said, "Well, what do we do?" And I imagine it kind of went something like this. They're in the room. What's her name? What's the lady
Jeannie
name?
Buss.
Jeannie Buss. She's in the room. She's like, "Guys, what do we do? I don't know what to do. What would old Pops do back when he was alive? What would he do?" And,
running a great team.
And then some guy was like on his phone, and he had like ESPN Plus on or something, and he was just like, he's watching this guy yell at Stephen A. Smith and call old players plumbers and mailmen. And then he was like, well, what if we hire that guy?
He seems like he would work with the young guys.
You're right. You're the new GM. Hire this man. And they hire
this man.
JJ Riddick, the color commentator for the national broadcasts on the ESPN network.
Sure.
And also known annoying douchebag. Is that a swear? I don't know if that's a nasty word. Either way,
somewhat.
I will say this is entirely personal. I hate JJ Riddick. I hate listening to him. I hate his analysis. I hate everything about this man. He went to Duke. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. I don't like JJ Riddick, Sam. I will not eat JJ Riddick in the house. I will not eat it with a mouse. I will not eat it in a box. I will not eat it with a fox. I do not like JJ Riddick, Sam. I
feel like that was rehearsed, but I bet it wasn't.
No, I just know that. I know that green eggs and ham. At least I know that part. I don't know
that part of So anyway, to go off of your point, I agree. This is an interesting signing for the Lakers in a word. I personally have no idea what they think they're going to get out of this, other than another coach, much like Darvin Ham, who they brought in, and they're like, "Oh, let's try it out for 2 years with a
Right.
freaking squad of dinosaurs. Oh no, it didn't work." Like,
Okay, but
you
it
know,
wasn't-
it's not
maybe I'm
gonna
wrong.
do
Wasn't
anything.
Darvin Ham like he had coached somewhere before, right?
He
Like,
was the assistant coach under Mike Budenholzer when the Bucks won the
okay.
championship.
So he had some experience in the NBA and he had a
Correct.
reputation, at least
That'd
on
be
a
correct.
championship team.
Bingo.
JJ Redick gets paid money, or at least before, got paid money to say stupid things about basketball on national television.
That is also accurate. Yep. So I think JJ Redick, they're hoping brings. No, I got nothing. I don't know what it is.
He's LeBron's friend. That's basically what it like. That's the only reason.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's where you got it wrong.
Well,
Maybe
it's like,
LeBron snuck
okay.
into their meeting and was like,
here's
"Hire this
the
man."
problem, though, because here's what a lot of people will say, and they'll say, "Well, you know, who cares about the coach? LeBron's a coach anyway." It's like, well, think about what that says about your organization. You do not favor the team's success. You just, LeBron, what do you want us to do? Oh, okay, well, we'll hire JJ. Oh, please don't leave. Please don't opt out of here. It's like, this is not a serious organization. This is not the organization that brought in Shaq and Kobe and Kareem. This is like the Cowboys. This is like the kind of thing that the Cowboys would do, where they're like,
turning into the Cowboys.
It's like it really is. I mean, they haven't won in not almost as long. Cowboys is much worse, but it's the same sort of thing. It's like
Cowboys.
They're like leaning on their brand, like we're the Lakers. The Lakers are always good. And look,
we have LeBron James.
He's keeping them alive. But the moment that man retires, which could be anywhere from 2 to 3 years from now,
they're screwed.
Fingers crossed. I don't know what kind of technology they're developing to keep LeBron James alive. But once he leaves, that organization is poo-poo. I mean, I saw something today that they were only going to trade Austin Reeves for like an all-star option. Huh? Who do you think you are? Austin Reeves? Like, you mean the guy whose sole achievement is LeBron complimenting him one time in a press conference? You want an all-star caliber player for this
him.
cat? Get the heck out of here with that. And on top of this, the weirdo coach, Mr. Riddick, he doesn't want to be called coach. Hey, don't call me coach. I'm just JJ. I'm like one of you guys. I'm one of the boys. You know what this is? This is the epitome of the parent who calls their kid their friend. You know, like, I'm the cool parent. I'm not. Don't call. I'll buy alcohol for my kid. We're gonna drink together. It's like
it's the cool
your kid
teacher.
is just gonna walk over you. It's the same thing here. None of these players are gonna respect him. They all see the writing on the wall that the only reason this guy's got a job is because he has a silly little show with LeBron James. Like, why would I respect him if I'm D'Angelo Russell? If I don't know who's like Rui Hachimura, like guys that are. I'm not saying these guys are elite or amazing players, but they're role players. Okay, they're not
pretty good at what they do.
Players, and they're not putting behinds in the seats.
Nope.
And so what's putting behinds in the seats? I guess JJ Redick now. People want
JJ Redick, and then when the Lakers inevitably draft Bronny James.
If they
coming.
Don't draft Bronny James,
they're screwed.
Here's the thing. Like, that's another thing. It's like a real organization would not in earnest draft Bronny James, because
I don't know why he's even in the draft. He didn't do anything at USC.
If his name was Bronny Smith, he would be
no one would know who he is.
James Madison. He'd be playing for some random ass school, and nobody would care about him, and he might get taken in the third round. Or is there even a third round in the NBA draft?
There are 2 rounds in the NBA draft.
Okay, he would get taken undrafted. He'd be an undrafted free agent.
And he would go, to the Charlotte Hornets or something in their G League.
But
this is going to be so interesting. I can't wait for Thursday to open up my phone and get a notification and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna check Instagram real quick because I got a notification that
There's no-
Bronny James is on the Lakers now."
Okay, here's the thing though. Like,
I'm ready for it.
there's no way. Like, imagine the press conference for a team that takes him. Like, let's assume the Lakers don't take him. A team that
Yep.
takes him, and LeBron James doesn't go to that team. Like, what do you tell your fans? What do you, as a president of
Yeah.
basketball ops, as a general, like, you gotta just go up and be like, yeah, well, we watched a lot of Bronny James's tape, and there's a lot of stuff we like. And it's like, dude, he
Wow.
averaged like 3 points a game. He averaged
Yeah, I'm
3 more
pretty
points than me.
Yep, he averaged 3 or 6 points a game or something last time I checked. Yep.
Oh dear. And
At
there are
USC.
Like, if you take him it would be unforgivable. I would fire someone on the spot if they took him in the first round.
Oh yeah, if he goes in the
no-
first round, somebody's
you
on crack.
Cannot, unless short of you actually somehow getting LeBron James to come to your team, which is very short-sighted thinking to begin with. But at least I can rationalize that, right? At least, okay, we can
I
put him on the
still
season
can't.
tickets. People are going to come to every single game. We're going to get a bunch of TV deal. I can at least see it from an organizational standpoint to keep
Nope.
yourself above water for at least a couple of years. You cannot take Bronny James and then not get LeBron James, let alone take him in the first or second round, like in the first round. If you take him in the first round, you don't get you might as well sell your team. You might as well just, you know what? We're going to pull in Arizona Coyotes. We're going to go play in a college arena and then move to Utah. Or
That's it.
maybe they'll move to Wyoming. They'll go to a state with no sports.
That's a good idea.
Cheyenne sheep.
And then the 2 people that live in Wyoming would go and watch the games.
Go, ba, go.
Go Baga. I like that.
I actually don't mind that. The Cheyenne sheep. That could be kind of
Yeah.
nice.
It's got a nice ring. But anyway, overall, some interesting things in the NBA.
Yeah, the
Questionable
just
things.
a lot of questionable things, but obviously with the draft coming up,
That'll be
you got to
interesting.
imagine things are not going to get any less questionable. I gotta say that rumor about Alexander Sarr not wanting to go to the I'm sorry, dude, but nobody has watched your games. And if
Nope.
if somebody watches this show in the backlog and they leave a comment saying they watched Alexander Sarr, you know what I'm gonna say in response? Go outside. Stop watching EuroLeague basketball. Go play basketball. Go find a net.
There's
go
a
to
hoop
the
right
gym.
outside,
Do
I bet.
anything other than watch EuroLeague basketball. I'm begging you. Just don't. You have a problem. You're addicted to the game. It's a fine game. I like basketball. You got to stop.
Go play it.
Go play it.
Don't watch it.
Just don't watch I don't know what will be worse, if somebody told me they watch G League or if they watch EuroLeague.
I'd say
At least
That's
people
a
in
tough
Europe
one.
might watch the EuroLeague.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
they
think
do.
anybody watches the G League.
Good point. Yeah, I think they play in high school arenas. So or high
They're
school
lucky.
I don't even
Yeah, there's like 20 people at the game, and 15
Yeah.
of them are media, and the other 5 are family.
Yeah. Free tickets, everyone.
I'm pretty sure there was a larger crowd at my elementary school football games.
Probably.
It's
That's just how it goes sometimes.
yet teams insist upon taking these players. Anyhow,
Yep. All right. What do
I'm
we
gonna
got?
move along here. Very briefly, just wanted to touch on Willie Mays. Willie Mays dies in '93.
Yes. Mhm.
Baseball legend. I'm sure,
Indeed.
especially for you in California, a legend. San Francisco, his whole career,
Yep.
one of the all-time greats. Shout out to him. He was 93. There's not really like the guy
There's not
was
much
going to
else to
die
say.
any second.
Yeah.
But still very sad. Hope that his family and all those around him, can remember his wonderful addition to the game of baseball and just sports in general.
Absolutely.
He's one of those guys. He played in the Negro leagues and in the major leagues.
yeah.
And murdered everybody. He's more recent Jackie Robinson.
Yeah. Yep.
But either way, all-time great. Shout out Willie Mays and all that. But Seth, we got to do a little Stanley Cup breakdown. So
real quick. Absolutely.
I got to tell you. So this Stanley Cup went from one of the most boring and predictable ones to one of the most absolutely insane Stanley Cups I've seen in recent memory. So
And this is what I've been told. Those damn Floridians.
they've gotten 3 out of the last,
Of the last, is it
5 Stanley
Yeah, I was
Cups.
gonna say 3 out of the last 5.
Those-
Yep.
The only other 2 are Colorado a couple of years
And
ago,
Vegas.
and then Vegas last year.
Yep.
I think last week I was like because this was before it was 3-3
Yeah.
in the series. I was like,
Uh-huh.
it has been like outside of Colorado, it has been a domination of warm climate locations winning the Stanley Cup. How can we let this
That's
happen?
true.
Like
I don't
Tampa
know.
Bay, and then even like some of the losers. It was like
Yeah.
you had Washington beating Vegas a couple of years ago, and then when the Thunder won the Lightning won their first.
Yeah.
They beat Dallas. So it's like,
I know.
what is happening?
It's
You
I don't
can't
know.
have
I don't
ice
ask
in
questions.
Dallas. You can't do it. But anyway,
I know. It's
So-
strange.
first, the Oilers. I believe this was game 5. So this was
Okay.
when
A little
I was like,
flashback.
okay. I think I said, if you let them win game 5, then if you're Florida, then you can get a little nervous because
Yeah.
you've let them in, and what they do, they let them win. So it was a 5-3 win. Florida had something of a comeback, couldn't finish the job. They
Yep.
lose it. A couple of empty netters there, I believe, near
Yeah.
the end, or at least one
Yep.
empty netter.
Yeah.
And then Edmonton forces the game 7. Absolute blowout win, 5-1.
Yeah.
Florida looked dead. It was terrible shots, and there was so much history on the line. So I got a couple of statistics for you.
Ooh,
So,
okay. I like
no
stats.
team except the Maple Leafs in 1942 had ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
Put that into perspective. The Maple Leafs, a team that has infamously not won a Stanley Cup since colored television emerged,
Yep.
was the last team to come back down 3-0.
Uh-huh.
And they did it against the Detroit Red Wings, by the way.
Oh, really? Well,
Shout
there
out
you go.
Gordie Howe. I don't think that was Gordie Howe. I think he was the 50s. Anyway. Then, on top
Yep.
of that, no
Yep.
Canadian-based team had won the Stanley Cup since 1993, a
Okay.
31-year drought for Canada. And
Yep.
even further, I didn't mean to knock you, microphone. And even further,
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton hadn't won a
Yep.
cup since 1990.
Okay.
And then Florida had never won a cup in general. So there was so many storylines, so many layers to this game
That's it.
7.
Yep.
And it was a really good low-scoring game. Florida won the game. They have been playing basically all year. They just strangled you. They got up to a 2-1 lead going into the
And that
third
is it.
period, and that was it. I think they had lost like 2 games or something all season after being up in the second period.
That's
Like,
insane.
and the games that they lost were in overtime. So it was like
That is like crazy.
it's insane because especially considering it's like if you're going to lose a game in the regular season, you'd rather lose it in overtime because you still get a point, right?
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
like, that is absolutely like one of the all-time great defensive
Insane.
showings for the Florida
Yep.
Panthers this past year. They avoid the reverse sweep. However, there was something that happened in this game that in the aftermath, I should say.
Yep.
Connor McDavid was
Yes.
awarded the Conn Smythe, which is the MVP for the playoffs.
Uh-huh. And which
One
team does that?
problem,
Connor McDavid play for?
McDavid doesn't play for the Florida Panthers. He plays for the
Oh.
Edmonton Oilers. So
Oh.
Gary Bettman, everybody's favorite commissioner. I actually get a kick out of Gary Bettman. He's one of the funnier ones because I don't know. There's just something about Gary. He just makes
Yep.
me chuckle. And he's like announcing, and once he says like he broke Wayne Gretzky's record, everybody knows, oh, it's Connor McDavid. And everybody just starts booing him, and they like
Yep.
announce it or whatever. And the broadcast like has to like bleep out the audio completely
Because
and like
yep.
do like an aerial shot of the stadium, like a bird's eye view kind of thing, because
Uh-huh.
Connor McDavid didn't want the trophy, as
No.
one might expect. I saw a comment on Reddit that said it was the consolation Smythe trophy.
Yeah, kind
so
of.
it was like, yeah,
Yep.
I mean, congrats,
That's-
Connor. You lost. You came all
Here's
the
a-
way back just to lose. Might as well.
Here's
have
your
lost-
trophy for you.
Might as well have lost in game 4. But
Pretty much.
yeah, so it was still an incredible series, and look,
Absolutely.
to the Edmonton Oilers' credit, they will almost certainly be back when you have Connor
Oh, yeah.
McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the two best players in hockey, on your team. It's pretty hard to not consistently be a cup contender.
Yep.
It would be an absolute shame. Like if Connor McDavid never wins a Stanley Cup, he will be essentially like the Barry Bonds, the Dan Marino of the NHL, like all-time great and never won.
And just never win anything. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, good for Florida. First ever Stanley Cup. It wasn't their first time going there, so they knew the pain of losing. And
they redeemed it.
They were a really fun team all year. I said at the beginning of the playoffs, you can go back and watch the tape. This was the team on a mission. They lose last year. They looked unstoppable basically all season, and
they come right back and win it.
So yeah, must be nice for the 30 Florida Panthers fans down in South Beach. They're probably really enjoying. Like
they don't have any ice down there.
There's probably some guy in because I think they play in Sunnyside, Florida, or something like that.
Okay,
it's in Miami-ish area.
I was gonna say
one
that's not far.
guy in Miami that's he's been he's always been into hockey. He's like the weird guy, the weird
hockey guy.
He's like, I finally my dedication to this franchise, and then, he's just he's surrounded by old Florida Panther memorabilia. He's got all the little rats that they throw on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the origin of that, by the way? Because
I don't.
Enjoy this. So it's referred to as a rat trick. That's the whole thing, which is a play on the hat trick, as you know.
Sure.
When a player gets 3 goals. And the origin is that I believe it was in the 90s, which is around when the team emerged as an expansion team. I want to say it was either the goaltender or maybe somebody else on the team. I mean, I guess, it would be somebody else on the team. In the locker room, there was a rat. And they killed the rat with a stick, naturally. And I guess news of this was emerged, and it became a thing that they would throw rats on the ice in the crowd. So it's a similar kind of. There's a lot of weird hockey traditions. I mean,
there really is.
The Red Wings throw an octopus on the ice. And do you want to know the origin of that?
Maybe.
Okay, so octopus has how many legs, Seth?
That'd be 8.
It's got 8 legs. That's right. So back in the olden days, it used to be there wasn't as many rounds in the playoffs, and you only needed 8 total wins to win the Stanley Cup. So some guy at some point in the 50s threw an octopus to signify the 8 wins they needed. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Hockey's got some weird traditions. I don't know what the Duckies do. Over in Anaheim. I don't think they throw a live duck. That would be a little strange.
That would be. Maybe they don't do
a dead duck. That might be even more strange.
That'd be even stranger.
Are there ducks in This is gonna sound so.
There is.
There are ducks in California. Okay.
Oh, plenty of them. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know if they liked it out there.
Oh, they
know
do.
Sometimes they go south.
Yeah, but they're fans of it out there. At least in my neck of the woods.
So. Nice. Yeah. Well, we got one more segment here, Seth. We're gonna get through it.
Yep. And it's going to be talking about Jurickson Profar hitting a walk-off home run.
Yes, Jurickson Profar. He's been good. Padres. They're a playoff team right now.
They are right now.
We can real quick, just because it's the last week of the month. We can real quick just pull up the standings here, just to kind of break it down very quickly.
Obviously, I can't because I'm handicapped.
Right. I'll break it down for you. So right now in the AL, you got the Guardians, Yankees, and the Mariners on top of their respective divisions.
Sure.
Not a whole lot of surprises there, except for maybe the Mariners. I mean, the Astros and the Rangers are really disappointed this year, both of them below 500, but crawling their way back. Good for the Mariners, though. That's a fun team to watch for sure. On the wild card, you got the Orioles, the Twins, and the Red Sox, who have stormed back. They're 8 for their last 10. They've won. So Red Sox have really started to turn it on. Meanwhile, the Royals have started to fall apart a little bit, but they're only a half game out. So womp womp indeed. On the National League side, the Phillies, who the Tigers are currently beating right now, 1-0.
Really? Very nice.
Yeah, this is and against Ranger Suarez, who has been a Cy Young pitcher. He's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And meanwhile, he just gave up a couple more runs. Andy Ibanez, 2 RBI,
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely a 2 RBI.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know if they're gonna call that a double or a single, but yeah, looking good so far for the Tigers. But anyway,
There you go. Yep.
Phillies, they're the best team in baseball by the record.
Yep.
52-26. That is
Crazy.
absurd. But
Yeah.
you also got the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee
Sure.
Brewers. Dodgers
course.
are a super team, so I think everybody.
Shohei
expected them
Ohtani,
to be
thank you
this
very
way.
much. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to see him, by the way.
Really?
When they come to town to play the Tigers. So
Well-
hopefully he's not hurt or just not playing by that.
Yeah,
But
because
anyway, basically
knows?
the only reason I want to go.
yep, that'd be it.
But anyway, the Brewers are another team. I mean, they just always seem to be in it, and
They're always in the air. They're either wild card or like
Well, they
top
got
of
good
their.
pitching. They got good
Yeah.
pitching, and
They're just consistent.
whether or not their hitting is going to stay consistent or good. Christian Yelich has been really good. I mean, he's really
Christian Yelich, I think he's just like such a.
he's a good player.
I think they just overall are just like solid. I guess.
Yeah,
maybe not
I think
consistent
they're
with
a well
hitting, but
insulated team, but I don't know
Yeah.
how well that's going to work in the playoffs.
we'll see.
I'll root
Still.
for them because they've never won anything, and
Yeah,
I don't know. We drove by their stadium.
we
Kinda
did.
Cool. It's a cool looking stadium.
It is a very
was
cool
it
stadium.
Greater American Park or Great American Ballpark or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. A big old
but
dome.
meanwhile, anyway, on the wild card front, you got the Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, and your San Diego Padres in that
There
final
you go.
wild card spot. A game and a
Mhm.
half ahead too.
Hey.
Despite being just one game over 500, the Padres have
yeah.
gotten themselves something of a cushion in the wild card.
Yeah, and as long
that's
as we
gotta
can
feel good,
stick
given-
with given last season. Ooh,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And if at least one of our teams can make the playoffs and make postseason
That'll be
baseball
something.
interesting, potentially, that would be fun. I would love to do postseason baseball reactions if that's possible.
Yep.
But either
Let's
way,
not ask for too much though.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see the Cardinals as well. That's the team that started off real slow, but has climbed their
Yeah,
way
but
back as well.
They're creeping up.
And the Braves, they've won 7 of their last 10.
Yeah.
They're the Braves. I mean, they're one of the most well-run organizations in baseball. As far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, every year they're a World Series contender. But they're playing in a really tough division behind the Phillies and even the Nationals and the Mets sort of coming to life a little bit as well.
Sure.
Both teams out of the playoffs, but
you never know.
not completely terrible teams. A little disappointed in the D-backs. Below 500 right now, 38 and 40, a game and a half out of the wild card. This is a team that just made the World Series. And granted, they didn't make a particularly long series, but you know, they
didn't make it.
I was expecting a lot more. So
Yeah.
a little disappointed in the
there's-
D-backs.
There's still time. There's
Yeah,
some.
definitely still time. Trade deadline is like a month from now, so a lot of things can
Yeah.
change.
Comes
Teams
up
can
in
make
July,
some
yeah.
moves that could change the course of history for them.
This
I
is
mean,
true.
and hey, Jack Flaherty will be available from the Tigers. So if
Well,
you-
Merry
you-
Christmas to everyone.
do the Padres want pitching?
No, I think we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jack
it's
Flaherty's
okay.
good though. So
Is he?
yeah, he's actually really good. He's
Oh.
like one of the leaders in strikeouts. He's on a 1-year deal, so he's a rental, but
No,
you
that's
know,
still.
he's going to be traded, probably, hopefully, please.
Yeah, if he's
don't-
on a 1 year,
Don't,
I guess.
don't do
so.
any Erod like you did last year. Just please.
Yeah,
Please,
no.
don't do that.
No.
But Seth, initially, what I was going to talk about with the Tigers, I was going to sort of talk about the recent skid of sorts. I know right now they're winning 4-0 now, which is cool to
Wow.
see. But and they managed to beat the White Sox 2 out of 3 over the weekend. That was kind of fun because
Wow.
I hate the
Yep.
White Sox and they're a scummy organization. I hope they lose everything.
Well, there you
but
go.
something happened today that
Yeah.
I did not expect to see in my timeline at work
Mm.
on YouTube. Don't tell my
Okay.
work. That's fine. I can tell them. I think they know.
They've figured it out.
Scott Harris, president of baseball operations
Sure.
for the Tigers,
Yep.
spoke to the media technically,
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, this
Team
has
is
to be
sort of
something.
falling apart. You know, right now they're 36 and 42, 6.5 games out of the wild card. They're completely out of the division race.
Sure.
So naturally, you would expect your president of baseball operations to say something to the media.
hire this man. Yep.
Right. One problem.
Oh,
He didn't speak to the beat writers. He didn't speak to the local sports radio talk. He didn't talk to the press after a game or before a game.
Mm-hmm.
He went on a pre-recorded official team podcast with the two play-by-play announcers for the radio and television broadcasts.
Oh, right.
So I actually, for the record, full disclosure, I like this podcast a lot. I listen to it whenever they drop it because I love Dan Dickerson and Jason Benetti, the two commentators that the Tigers have. They're professionals. They're great. This is not slanderous against them. They probably had no choice in doing this. I mean,
However,
it's their boss. So,
yep.
however, this to me is so absolutely butter soft and weak. Like, this is just like weak. Like, why? Because you know what this is going to be?
Good answer.
This is what is going to be like his internal and I guess somewhat external excuse. What do you mean I don't talk to the media? I was just I did an hour-long podcast
I just did a podcast.
And it's like, for one, it's not a live show. It's a pre-recorded show. And you're doing it with a it's like it's like if I did an interview with Seth. Like, hey, Seth, how's school going? I'm really gonna give you the hard-hitting question. It's like this is not at all what people want. And it's become a little bit of a routine with Scott Harris. He has yet to go on any of the local sports networks. He has yet to interview with any of the local beat writers. He'll talk to MLB Network. He'll talk to the guys at spring training before anything happens.
Well, yeah, because they're doing fine.
It would be one thing if he was just talking to people that I wish he would talk to more critical media. It'd be one thing if it was that.
Yep.
But he also said something in it as I was listening at work. And I was absolutely flabbergasted by this statement. Now, I don't have the exact quote.
Sure.
But you can go back and watch the show. It's available on the Detroit Tigers YouTube page. It's like 45 minutes long. It's an easy watch. Fine.
Go ahead and enlighten us.
Scott Harris said something along the lines of, like when people talk about, some of the guys that we bring in, that we should have brought in, some of them, but not all of them. If you go and look, it turns out that they actually weren't all that good, and they wouldn't have been that good for us. Like in a way saying, all those people who wanted X, Y, and Z bat or player or whatever, those guys, please, they don't know anything. Because look, they ended up bad. Now, I'm gonna go on Baseball Reference here. Okay.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm gonna look up 3 players that I would have been absolutely okay with the Tigers getting. I'm going to start with Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, third baseman for the San Francisco Giants this year. Matt Chapman not having a great year, but batting .233, 9 home runs, a 107 OPS plus. By my measure, that's above league average. 7 points above league average, mind you.
Indeed.
So, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty okay. He's 2.5 WAR, winning player, and a really good defensive player, 4-time Gold Glover at third base, 2-time Platinum Glove, and an All-Star. Really, really solid defensive player who can give you above average offense. Okay?
There you go.
So, I guess maybe he wasn't thinking of Matt Chapman. Maybe he wasn't thinking of it. So, let's try somebody else. Let's try one Cody Bellinger, right? Cody Bellinger, former MVP of the league. In the shortened season, granted, former Rookie of the Year, World Series with the Dodgers in the shortened season. He's batting .272 with a 115 OPS plus. And having another great year with the Cubs. What do you know? He was on the market, and he can play center field, he can play first base, and by the way, we don't have a first baseman anymore because the one that we bet all our money on, and Spencer Torkelson, is playing in Toledo. So, really great way to insulate him. Right now we have, an outfielder essentially playing first base for us. So, Cody Bellinger, not going to be Cody Bellinger. Okay, fine. Cody Bellinger is 1 WAR player, whatever. Positive WAR player. I'm sure we got a lot of those.
1 WAR. So that's nothing.
Yeah, right. I mean, have you seen Javi Baez's WAR? He's got like 6, except for someone the other way.
No.
What about former Tiger? One of my favorite players when I was a young lad, JD Martinez. Martinez, seen as one of the top DHs in this past offseason's free agency. coming off of an injury, but still a veteran of the league, well respected, great teammate, great studier of the game. He knows the game well, and teach a lot of guys. He was a guy people forget before when he was with Houston. He sucked. He came to Detroit and he figured it out.
Yeah, he turned it on.
Obviously, he probably has a very positive view of Detroit as an organization, as a place to play, et cetera, et cetera. This year, he's batting .290, 1.3 WAR with a 151 OPS plus by my measure set.
Wow.
That is 51 points above league average.
Now, that is really something.
That is really gosh darn good.
So, can I ask who the esteemed gentleman, a.k.a. Detroit Tigers president of baseball operations, was thinking?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know because these were like the three names that were always passed along by Tigers fans in comment sections or on texts or call-ins to local radio or just in common conversation. These were like the three guys as far as bats that were available that they talked about getting. And that's only in free agency, mind you. Your San Diego Padres, as you probably know, traded for one Luis Ariz, who, by the way, would immediately be the best hitter on our team right now. You want to know how I know that? Pull up his stats really quick. Luis Ariz is batting .311. That is
correct.
Light years above any player on the Tigers right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care that it's not for power. We don't have any of that. It doesn't matter if we don't
Who cares?
And I gotta sit here and hear this general manager or this person of baseball ops just snide at the idea, just like nose up, like I know better than all of you people.
Well,
as his team, let me pull up some stats for you.
Okay.
It's
more stats.
Let's pull it up. Where do they sit on offense? Where do they sit on average? Okay, they sit, let's see, 23rd. 23rd in batting average, 232 as a team. They are batting worse than the Toronto Blue Jays, or they're the same as the Toronto Blue Jays, I should say. They're batting worse than the LA Angels. The Angels, whose only good player is Mike Trout.
Who might be dead.
He might be dead. That's true.
We don't know.
Where do they sit on OPS? Oh, yeah, 23rd. So great. We improved from 28th last year all the way up to 23rd.
Hey, you know what? Those are
yesterday
baby
we
steps.
got a triple play on us. So I just want to point that out as well. The first triple play since Ty Cobb was alive.
Oh no.
Here's the thing. It'd be one thing if he made some moves and he could cite, we went out, we got bats. They went out and they traded for Mark Canha and they signed Gio Urshela to a 1-year deal. That is not getting bats. That's putting a Band-Aid on a problem and hoping the guys that you're drafting, who, by the way, you decided to draft a high school bat at 3 overall. Who knows if he's going to be any good in 4 years? You're putting a lot of stock in your own development, and meanwhile, the guys that you've been the guys that you are somewhat responsible for in either Justin Henry Malloy, who is batting below 200, still has a lot of time, but still, and Colt Keith, who he's had a great couple of months, but still needs a lot of work. I don't want to hear about blocking players, especially given the fact if you look at our roster, you're still putting Javi Baez. I mean, he's hurt, but he's still on the team. You know what you should be doing about stopping players from being blocked? Go up to Chris Illich's office and say, let me buy out Javi Baez's contract or I'm not working here anymore. Because no serious organization has that garbage player sitting on their roster, taking up a spot, and then has the gall to say he is valuable to this organization.
What's his WAR?
I don't know. It's probably in the negative thousands. Let's pull it up. We have baseball reference up. Javier Baez. Negative 1.4. You want to know what his OPS plus is, by the way? Because apparently Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman and JD Martinez, their OPS plus, it wasn't big enough. Wasn't
No.
good enough.
What's Javi's?
Javi Baez's OPS plus is 29. By my measure, that's 71 points below average.
I think you're correct. Yep.
He has if I told you his slugging percentage, you'd think it was his batting average.
Let's hear it.
247. That's his slugging percentage.
Ooh.
Which
Yeah.
is not great. It's not great at all. He's got 1 home run on the year, batting 183.
Wow.
And I know he's hurt. He's not playing. I don't care. He shouldn't be on the team. He shouldn't have made the roster. Okay? Like he didn't get a hit in spring training. Why is he on the team? And I gotta hear, no, we can't. No, hey, some of those guys, they didn't turn out so good. You know what? Here's for you. Where is it?
Ow.
That's for you, Scott.
Ow.
Baseball
Thanks,
to the
Scotty.
skull.
Yeah.
God.
Well, again, classic Detroit.
Thank you, Patrick Ewing.
Thank you, Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, this is
Classic Detroit.
I yelled a lot, Seth. I know you're not a Tiger fan.
I'm
but
not.
You
thank God
have
I'm
to
not.
understand, okay? This is not. I've made this point about the Pistons before. Like for someone like you, someone of your age, for the most part. Granted, maybe when you were younger, the Tigers were pretty good. Same deal with me. But for the most part, for most of your adult life, and frankly, for most of my adult life, the Tigers have just kind of sucked. Like they just haven't been all that good. You know.
No.
People really, Miguel Cabrera or Justin Verlander. Oh, and they traded him. And Max Scherzer, he's gone. Like, they just haven't been very good. But this is not like we aren't. I for risk of being disrespectful to other franchises, like we're not. I don't know, the Miami Marlins, who granted have won more recently than us. Like we're not the Colorado Rockies. That's a perfect one. Okay, we're not some garbage team that has never had any success. That frankly nobody in the area really cares about. Like we are a historic franchise. We've been around for over 100 years. We have all-time great players. It's not like we're dealing with an expansion team from 1992.
Correct.
And there just seems to be no standard of excellence in the organization as of right now.
Detroit.
The Lions are our only hope.
Minus the Lions.
That's like it's funny. Like one of the other things that kind of bothered me about what he was talking about is, and I feel like a lot of other GMs are making this point and are pointing this, like not just like I've been hearing.
Are they pointing at the Lions or something?
Well, they're like, we saw how the city really lit up for the Lions. It's like, well, yeah, they run their organization, like professionals, and they make smart and savvy moves, and don't make excuses, and don't like beg the fans and like explain that they're so much smarter than you, and just you wait until Jordan Zimmerman's contract is up, then we'll really be spending. It's like, no, they don't BS you. If I listen to a Brad Holmes press conference, I know what Brad Holmes is. I can get what he's saying, and I can go along with the vision.
Same thing with Dan Campbell.
Like it's like what he's saying. I know there's no BS to it, right?
That's what happens.
It's like he has the reputation for authenticity, and like what you see is what you get. With basically all of these other franchises in this city, it's like, well, have you seen how bare the cupboards were when they took it? It's like, I don't care. Okay. I work for a living. All right. 5 days a week. I got to work 9 to 5. And I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about the fact that I hold myself and my own work to a higher standard than some of these general managers who say, well, we're going to use this year as a development year. Development year? We haven't made the playoffs in 10 years.
Just one more, Mike. Just one more. That's all we need.
The Celtics are the balls.
Celtics are the balls.
Celtics are the balls.
It will be the balls until next year. And then they could still be the balls by the end of the year, I guess.
Well, they might be.
I like that drop a lot. And I think it's funny.
I think it's a good one. Yep.
Well,
that's about all we've got. All I've got.
I hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
It's funny. I think the weeks that I yell at the Tigers are the weeks that they end up winning when they're playing, right? Like,
Kind
as
of
we're doing a
ironic.
show.
Yep.
And Tarek Skubal is pitching, and he's been fantastic. He's one of the best pitchers. I'd say he's the best pitcher in baseball, but I'm biased, so what are you gonna do?
That's all right.
But either way, I guess it's fine that it's fun that they're actually winning. Although I know for a fact they won't win tomorrow because that's just how my life is. But that is it for the show. That is it. This week is going to be packed with stuff. You got the NHL draft on Friday. You got the NBA draft on Thursday. So you got back-to-back days of drafts. I don't think I'm going to be doing live reactions this particular year for a couple of reasons. For one, I don't have the emotion. And also, I have no frame of reference. Like, I don't know who any of these people are in the NBA draft. I barely knew who they were last year.
Yep.
So with that, just want a little bit of a show note. Don't expect a draft reaction. We'll talk about it next week, both NBA and NHL, at least as much as we can, because let's be honest, nobody knows who any of these players are, and this is problematic for the leagues and the way they handle their drafts. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But Seth, you got anything you want to add before the show ends? Anything of note?
I just sure hope Ronnie James goes undrafted.
That's all I got. The Bucks. Here we go.
Nope. If Ronnie James goes to the Bucks, I will become not a Bucks fan.
Ronnie James or Thanasis Antetokounmpo?
I'll take Thanasis, please.
All right. I think they're basically the same person. So
they basically are. They would
except
cheer on the bench.
One is like 100 pounds heavier.
Yep.
And theoretically plays basketball. And I'm not going to tell you which one. This is the one that I'm talking about.
The viewers can decide for themselves.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to wrap up the show. If you enjoyed, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We're back every Tuesday evening. Clips up tomorrow in case you missed any of the segments of the show.
And that's it.
I got nothing else. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.
Peace out, everybody.
Goodbye.
Peace out. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.